Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Oh, I got the comments here. Scroll up. Juicy Jules, Mr. Frosty, good evening. Gemma, Tammy Hall, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope we are all having a wonderful weekend. Let me be the first to physically answer a question before it's even asked. I believe the answer to one of tonight's trivia questions will be C. Thank you very much. Good evening, Lemon Pie, Spot, Liza Jane. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Cement Shoes, good evening. Welcome. I hope we are all having a great weekend. Hey, guts and dolls. Hope spring is springing to everyone. It's cute, Tammy. Oops, guys and guys. Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. I had fun on live stream that we did this morning. It was great to be able to finally, sit down and talk with you. I love Sunday night trivias. Thank you for hosting. Well, thank you, Liza Jane. Appreciate it. Samantha Mustard McDowell is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Hi, everyone. Liked and shared. Thank you. Appreciate it. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. If not, give it a thumbs down if you don't enjoy the content. You'll email me later. All right, Gemma. Whenever you have the time. I haven't heard from Meek yet. I just checked my emails a little bit ago, but I haven't checked all through the emails all that much. Just kind of skimmed through it. I'm gonna give it about another couple minutes here, and then we're gonna get started. Wait for everybody to get their notifications. I got mine. Got on my phone notifications that I am live. Yes. I got the email. Callie Lisa, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I've got a show suggestion we could do. Okay. Give it another minute here, and then we're gonna get this going. All the questions tonight are about Israel keys. Israel keys is the topic. The title to tonight's is The Keys to a Deadly Night. Israel keys. Inner Peas, good evening, Inner Peas. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. All right, 4 more seconds. 2, 1. Here we go. Get the first one up. The keys to a deadly night. This is the second trivia night with questions that are pertaining to only Israel keys. Get myself my little window here. All righty. First question is now going to be on your screen. Good evening, Starfire, Misha Rosa Ingram. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. First question. Where was Israel Keys born? Was it A, Tacoma, Washington, B, Cove, Utah, C, Boston, Massachusetts, or D, Dallas, Texas? And before we start tonight, let me also say you're going to see different spellings of Israel. Like here, the A is before the E. For some reason, while I was typing these up, it kept on flip-flopping the spelling. And I didn't catch this until later on, but for some reason it's flip flops the A and the E, several different times. You'll see different spellings of it. I am aware that it's spelled wrong. Hi everyone. Purple hand waving. So we have C, D, B, D. Gemma is going Tacoma, Washington. Excuse me. Only because I'm from Boston. LOL. Boston's a nice place. I've been to Boston several times in my life, and I've always had a great time there. Mainly, I've been there for baseball games, but I used to have friends who lived there, but they've, unfortunately, have all passed on. Part of life. Nobody gets out of this life alive. Who is he? I don't know. Israel Keys is a serial killer. Is a serial killer. Sick and twisted, disgusting serial killer at that. Gem, if it's easier. Where was Israel Keys born? First question. Starfire and Cement Shoes going with Starfire's going with A. Cement Shoes going with B. The correct answer to the first question for tonight on the trivia is B as in boy, Cove, Utah. If you've never heard of Cove, Utah, you're not alone. Most people couldn't find it on the map if they were looking right at the map, in the state of Utah. It's just a tiny little place. Several times throughout its history, it's lost its city, township, or and it's been downgraded to almost nothing. But he was born in Cove, Utah. Thank you, Anna Pease, for putting that, the link to her channel up there. I appreciate that. All right, question 2. Born into the Mormon faith, his family, including his 9 siblings and mother and father, left the church when he was 3 or 5 years of age. That's his own description. He narrow it down. Well, we were between 3. I was between 3 and 5 when we left the church. What religion did they follow next? Was it A, Baptist, B, Christian fundamentalist, C, Buddhist, or D, Jewish? What faith religion did they follow next? Wasn't Cove mentioned somewhere in Lori Vallow case? I'm not sure, Samantha. I was looking at the population. The population of Cove, Utah has drastically changed. It all depends upon who's living there at the time. There was a really big family there that had they were polygamists that lived in Cove, Utah. And but when the family was disbanded, um, most of the people who lived there moved. So it's not uncommon, apparently, throughout looking at history of Cove, Utah, to see hundreds of people come and go from the area. That's why they've lost township, and city status, and and everything else. These things have happened throughout the history of Cove, Utah. But I am not sure um, if it's been mentioned in the Lori Vallow case or not. I get lost in geography. Don't forget the Whittakers of Odd. Born into the Mormon faith, his family, including his 9 siblings and mother and father, left the church when he was 3 or 5 years old. To follow what religion? Video about him. He is the most criminally sophisticated serial killer I've ever heard of. Hmm. The answer to question 2 is B as in boy, Christian fundamentalist movement. Yeah. They studied only the King James version of the Bible, and that is all that they did every single day. His father was an odd, duckling, but he made the kids and his wife, they sat and they would study the Bible, the King James version of the Bible, for 6 hours a day, every single day. There was never any period of time when they were not allowed to, sit and discuss and study the actual Bible for 6 hours a day, every single day, without a day off. All right, next question. Question 3. Once the family moved from Utah, they took up residency in Washington state in a one-room log cabin. Where did Israel and 4 of his siblings sleep year round? Was it A, at their uncle's home, B, at a Motel 6, C, in a tent in the woods, or D, in a broken down Chevy van? Love the Sun 100. Good evening. Welcome to trivia. Joining in while spring cleaning. Oh, I didn't do any spring cleaning yet. Besides in the yard, been cleaning up leaves and and getting everything ready to plant flowers and taking care of that. But I'm gonna get to my list of things for spring cleaning inside the house this week. Once the family moved from Utah, they took up residency in Washington state in a one-room log cabin. Where did Israel and 4 of his siblings sleep year round? Good evening, TC, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Tammy E, a rusted out Yugo. Where did him and 4 of his siblings sleep? One room log cabin. And it wasn't that big of a cabin either, so I think it was right around 400 square foot. But it could have been slightly bigger than that, but it wasn't that big of a one-room log cabin. You can imagine that, though? There are 10 children, and then the mother and the father. So 12 people sleeping in a log cabin. Well, except for this case, Israel and four of his siblings slept somewhere else because obviously there ain't no room for 12 people in a one-room log cabin. It's fascinating to me. He was so good with children. Will, you made my weekend amazing. Thank you. Oh, thank you again. I had fun. Hopefully, I get to catch another one of your live streams soon. I'm glad I could be there with you. All right, question number 3. The correct answer is C as in cat. C as in cat. They slept in a tent in the woods, not next to the log cabin in the woods. This was in the woods, about I don't know, a distance away from the actual cabin, log cabin itself. But they slept in a tent because there was no room for them in the house. How you doing? Long time no see. We met at CC Coffee's mornings. Well, TC, I'm doing great. I hope you are doing just as good. Here in question 4. By the age of 6 or 7, by his own account, Israel had become a predator already. He loved to hunt and kill any animal he could find. What animal? What animal was his favorite to kill? Was it A, dogs, B, cats, C, birds, or D, squirrels? What was his favorite animal to kill? I'll get to the email after the stream, Gemma. After the stream, E with a mountain lion and Barry. Good, Barry Morphew. B. At age of 6 or 7, by his own account, he had become a predator already. 6 or 7 years of age. My son will be 7 here in a couple of months, and I can't imagine him, someone that young, already considering themselves a predator. But that's by his own account. His own account, he said he was a predator already by the age of 6 or 7. Wonder if his siblings knew he was a psychopath. Kelly Lisa says, can't pick any of those. Oh, B, bloody green covered eyes. Hey, Cement Shoes, so good to see you. I hope you are doing well. I don't know. That's a good question, Tammy. If any of his siblings knew, that he was a psychopath. That's a good question. I wonder if I could find out the answer to that. If any of them have, I don't know if any of them have ever made any public statements about, Israel, other than what was going on at the time, around his arrest. I know they had made some statements to law enforcement back then. But Liza Jane is going with D, question mark, could be. And her Pete is going with D, E, mountain lion. Yeah, mountain lions everywhere. By the age of 6 or 7, by his own account, Israel had become a predator already. He loved to hunt and kill any animal he could find. What animal was his favorite to kill? The correct answer is D as in dog, squirrels. And they would eat the squirrels. Every squirrel he could shoot and kill went right on the table for everyone to eat. They were, when say that they were poor, they were extremely poor. And so he would, if he could go out and he could kill 20 squirrels in one day, he would kill 20 squirrels in one day. They say killers start with killing animals. A lot of them do. A lot of serial killers, there's definitely torture and mutilation of animals. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer. He started off with roadkill, but he was encouraged to examine and bring roadkill home by his father. And and then it went from there to torturing cats, from torturing cats to torturing rabbits, and that's how Jeffrey Dahmer started. I'm sure Israel had his own, maybe he didn't kill them, they didn't die from their initial wound. He probably tortured them to the point where they died. But tastes like chicken. Hell. Liza Jane is 2 for 4 so far. All right, well, hopefully you'll get the next one. Here we go. Question 5. By his own account, what age did Israel Keyes say he was when he first started to think about killing other humans? Was it A, age 10, B, age 13, C, age 9, or D, age 20? He liked to shoot cats in the gut. Ugh. I ate guinea pig in Ecuador. I've never had guinea pig. Was it good? I've eaten chinchilla. Chinchilla kind of tastes like a cross between um, pork and chicken, kind of an off flavor, a little bit gamier. Well, I'm in the early stages of dementia the other night. Tammy's going with A, maybe. Starfire C, Liza Jane C. Tastes like chicken, says Callie Lisa. Did. By his own account, what age did Israel Keyes say he was when he first started to think about killing other humans? He calls himself a predator at the age of 6 or 7. But what age did he start thinking about killing humans? Which is a twisted, thing in itself. B, definitely B, says Liza Jane, age 13. I know that about Dahmer. By his own account. 15 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Cement Shoes is going with C. Sal, good evening, Sal. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are on question number 5 by Israel. All the questions tonight are about Israel Keyes. By his own account, what age did Israel Keyes say he was when he first started to think about killing other humans? Sal's going with C. Sorry to talk to text. I watched this documentary the other night and I can't get one right. E, 3.14 pie. Apple pie. Uh, Sweetheart, I don't like to smoke on camera. It's not that it's a violation of YouTube policies. It's just it's triggering, and it's a triggering device to some people. So for that matter, I don't like to do it. That's just me. All right. Question 5. The correct answer is C as in cat. Although he said that he really started to think about it by the age of 11. But he said the first thoughts that he had about killing other humans was at the age of 9. But by the age of 11, it was something that was a compulsion to him. Age 11. The kid's not even into middle school yet. He's not even into puberty, and he's already thinking about killing other people. That's sad. And when you look at his life earlier years, and the about Christian fundamentalism, and and the strict fatherhood that his father had, a lot of it probably pushed him towards that, though. Rebellion, I guess. But even if you rebel, do you really think about killing other people? Well, Israel Keys did. Something to talk about. I got monetized. Right on. I saw that you guys made it. You guys got to 1,000 subscribers the other night. I was in the your stream, sweetheart, but I didn't comment. I was just watching and kind of hanging out while I was working on something else. But congratulations. All right, moving on to question 6. By his teenage years, Israel Keys had already developed an interest in the arts of black magic and Satanism. Did he, though, ever practice either? This is a yes or no question. Yes, A, yes, B, no. By his teenage years, Israel Keys had already developed an interest in the arts of black magic and Satanism. Did he ever practice them? Oh, sweetheart, I was working on something else, another video, and I was downloading files, so I couldn't have commented, in your stream the other night. So I pop in every once in a while to listen to what you guys are talking about. I don't get a chance to comment much. It's more the time of the day when you're streaming, because I'm still working, and I don't want to comment, and then not be able to reply back to comments. Something to talk about. He's going with B, TCB. Ingram is going sad. By his teenage years, he was already interested in black magic and Satanism. We're off to a great start with this one. He considers himself a predator by the age of 6 or 7. By the age of 9, he's already thought about killing other humans. And by his teenage years, a couple years forward from that, he's already, has an interest in black magic and Satanism. But did he ever practice them? Either. If memory serves me, he had 2 tattoos, an upside down cross and a pentagram. Well, I guess I'm slowly growing some balls. Question number 6. Did he ever practice black magic and Satanism? KFC, glory to Putin. Okay, KFC. All right, question 6. The correct answer is A, as in apple. Yes, he did practice black magic and Satanism. He said in the interview that he had practiced it for a short period of time, maybe 1 to 2 years, but he was really into it. He practiced, Satanism, and he was interested in the dark arts and black magic. So that is, if you answered A, yes, you are correct. Question 7. His body count isn't it as impressive as some other serial killers, meaning he hasn't killed as many. How many victims do the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the FBI believe he really killed? Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar to you as well, KFC. I forgot to read the options. Is it A, 21, B, 18, C, 11, or D, 29? How many people do the FBI and the Department of Justice believe that Israel Keys killed? Tammy is going with C, Kalalisa, B, Summit choose C, Sal, C. Thank you so much. You were always a pure gentleman. TC is going with D. Starfire is going with C. For question number 7. C. Something to talk about. Starfire and Gemma all going with C. I'm not convinced he didn't kill. I'm in Mexico during his many trips there. That's interesting because I was actually reading about that, Tammy, about his multiple trips to Mexico. Did he kill there? I don't know, but he very well may have, and if the Department of Justice and the FBI may not know about him. Liza Jane is going with C. How many people did Israel Keys kill? Question 7. Excuse me. Michelle is going with C as well. 11. How many people does the Department of Justice and FBI believe he really killed? All right. The correct answer for question 7 is C, as in cat. He killed 11. That the Department of Justice and the FBI believe his real body count is 11. Question 7. Moving on to question 8. Israel went to great lengths to never get caught by leaving behind evidence he committed the crimes, murders. Which one from below was not one of the steps he took? Was it A, alter his fingerprints, B, got gastric lap band, C, shaved his entire body 4 times a day, or D, got plastic surgery? Which one did he not do? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? D. Mountain lion. Which one did he not do? Choose is going with C. Lisa. B. Liza Jane. E. Didn't transfluid. Didn't transfluid. Sal D. Tammy B. Maybe? Question mark? Question. Liza Jane going with B. Which one did he not do? In case you're wondering, the man, he was smart. He wasn't an idiot. He studied others to make sure he didn't get caught. In the end, his own stupid mistake is what tripped him up. A crap I did was watching the wrong documentary. Oh, or maybe these questions weren't on that documentary you watched. That could be it too, TC. I've watched documentaries on last one on Dennis Rader. I learned more about him in that one documentary than I've ever known, and I've done 2 or 3 different trivia nights on Rader or the BTK killings, and I learned more in that documentary. I was like, damn, I didn't know anything of those things about him because they never talked about the part where how he got caught and how brazen he was and how much of an idiot about the computer. And the from his church. That part didn't come up until way later, almost to the end of the documentary. But it focused on his life, beforehand. How much of a nice individual he was. Not. That's sarcasm, by the way. So creepy, yeah. Elaine Ann. I will. Hi to all watching while I cook. All right. Ellen Ann. So, okay, question 8. The only one of these that he did not do for question 8 is D as in dog. He never got plastic surgery, and this goes back to his multiple trips to Mexico. Again, while he was in Mexico, he chemically altered and burnt off his fingerprints. He got a gastric lap band surgery, and he learned that if he shaved his body when it came to forensics, that he wouldn't get tripped up if he shaved his entire body, and he would do it up to 4 times a day. Where is everyone from? I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I am in Washington State. Question 9. Like any serial killer worth a grain of sand, Israel Keys did his homework. He studied other serial killers, learning how they made mistakes. Israel went a step further, though. Who else did he study? Was it A, the BAU agents with the FBI, B, the DOJ special agents, C, U.S. Army Special Forces, or D, mass killers and shooters? On who else did he study on top of other serial killers? In case you're wondering, his favorite serial killer was none other than Ted Bundy. He was enamored with Ted Bundy and Ted Bundy's crimes and how he got tripped up. He was smart. In the UK, ribbon dancers. A, Tammy's going with A. Liza Jane D. Sal C. Callie Lisa D. Like any serial killer worth a grain of sand, Israel Keys did his homework. He studied other serial killers, learning how they made mistakes. Israel went a step further, though. Who else did he study? Starfire is going with A. TC is going with C. E. 70s sitcoms. He studied the Brady Bunch. And this is how we became the Brady Bunch. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Marsha. Anybody on that show was going to become a serial killer, on the Brady Bunch. I would have put money on either Jan or Peter. Excuse me. All right, like any serial killer worth a grain of sand, Israel Keys did his homework. He studied other serial killers, learning how they made mistakes. Israel went a step further, though. He studied. Who else did he study? The correct answer to question 9 is A as in apple, the BAU, and the agents with the FBI BAU unit. He wanted to learn how they caught other serial killers. I mean, he figured if he learned how they caught them and what they were thinking and what they did, that he would be able to, avoid being captured or caught at all. Again, he got tripped up by his own dumb mistake. Bobby, what would be your pick, Starfire? All right, question 10. We can all agree this man is a cold-hearted killer and a psychopath, right? He was human still and loved music. What was his favorite musical artist? Was it A, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, B, Pantera, or C, ICP, Insane Clown Posse, or D, G.G. Allen? And I do not fault anyone if they do not know who G.G. Allen is. Who was Israel Key's favorite musical artist? Smith Shoes is going with C, Insane Clown Posse. Starfire, B. And I am very aware that Pantera is spelled wrong there. Should be an E instead of an A. I have Pantera tattooed on my arm, my left arm. I think I would have caught that, but I didn't. E, Barry Manilow. Repeats Lawrence Welk. Tiny Bubbles. I'm from South Elgin, Illinois. It's the western suburbs of Chicago. Frank Stallone. Okay, my kids are putting me in a hole. I don't remember any of this. I'm sorry, TC. What was Israel Key's favorite musical artist? And for the record, this goes back to all the way back when Israel Keys was in the United States Army. Yes, he was in the United States Army, and he served honorably and in the Army. And even people who were in his unit back then when he was in the service, they say that he loved this musical artist. TC is going with A, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Thyroid, hello, how are you doing? Welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm changing to C, says Sal. Michelle knows who Gigi Allen is. For everybody else who don't know who Gigi Allen is, Gigi Allen was the best way to describe him in his music would be punk, but a disgusting stage act of punk music. It wasn't uncommon for him to urinate on the audience or throw feces at the audience while he was doing his show. It was that shock and awe. He took everything to the umpteenth level. He would cut himself and bleed all over the place. He just didn't care. It was all part of an act. And incidentally, his brother runs a serial killer museum in California. I believe it's in San Francisco, but it could be in Los Angeles. But I know his brother runs a serial killer museum there. It better not be Pantera. Emilia, good evening, welcome. And the correct answer to question 10 is C as in cat, ICP, Insane Clown Posse. From the time that he was in the Army, when he was first introduced to the music, he was a huge fan of ICP, the Juggalos, and he loved the music, he loved the atmosphere, he loved everything about ICP. Go back over here so I can go up. Love me, Manilow. I'm a Fanalo. Aunt B. Welcome, Aunt B. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Tammy, is that the home of Opie from Andy Griffin Show? That's a Ron Howard. It played Opie on the Andy Griffin Show. Ron Howard. Juggalos are incels. Yes. Okay, moving on to question 11. Question 11. Back to one more question by his own account to 60 Minutes, the TV show. What was the one thing that pushed him over the edge to really just be a serial killer instead of an upstanding citizen? Was it A, beating hookers until they passed out? B, visiting a dead hooker someone else killed? C, meth and mountain lions? Or D, wild turkey bourbon? What was the one thing that pushed him over the edge? Reichard, good evening. YouTube did not notify me when you went live. Well, why? Why? I'm sorry. You at a parade today? They called it Mount Pilot in the show, but it's actually Pilot Mountain. Huh. I think Gigi Allen was on the Jenny Jones show back in the day. He may have been, or Morton Downey Jr. or one of those shows. He would do anything for publicity. He actually recorded quite a few different albums over the years, but with different variations of the band. Traveled, and had a successful tour. A couple of them. But you can go over to the YouTube channel Soft White Underbelly, and he interviews Gigi Allen's brother and another individual who were both serial killer collectors on there. His brother is the one with the long beard and down the middle of it, it's painted red. Gigi Allen, that's his brother, Amelia. His brother, Gigi Allen's brother. His brother runs a serial killer museum. I think it's in San Francisco or might be in Los Angeles. I know it's in California, though. Ah, bazinga, Will. I love this channel, Soft White Underbelly. So do I, Aunt B. I really enjoy not so much the drug addicts. I mean, because let's face it, he's interviewed a million different, drug addicts, who are all hooked on either oxy or heroin or fentanyl. But his interviews with former law enforcement, his interviews with, like the repo guy or the collections, he's mixed in quite a few different interviews over the years of like different people in different facets of life. Don't get me wrong, though. I do enjoy some of the interviews with the addicts and how they got there, and their life story, their backstories. Will gave you done a show about Albert Fish. Have I done Albert Fish? I'm not entirely sure, Tammy, but I'm going to write it down on my suggestion list. Albert Fish. I may have done, some questions on him, but I don't know if it was only on Albert Fish, though. Purple, good evening, Will. Good evening, Purple. I hope you had a good week. Morgan Downey Jr. lied about skinheads attacking him. Yeah, back in the day. And he was probably put up to it by, for ratings. Back then, they were ratings sweep week, Good God. What I think I remember, his kills were horrible, so I got with B. Okay, question 11. Well, back to one more question by his own account to 60 Minutes TV show. What was the one thing that pushed him over the edge to really just be a serial killer instead of an upstanding citizen? For question 11, the correct answer is D as in dog. He had a hell of a drinking problem. Although he did visit a dead hooker that somebody else had killed, and he did love to beat prostitutes. He first started visiting prostitutes and beating them when he was in the United States Army. But he said he never visited a prostitute before he was in the Army, though. And obviously, there was no meth or mountain lions involved, but wild turkey, he drank like there was no tomorrow. It probably would end up killing him if something else didn't, I'm trying to get over the screen. All right. Question 12. Israel Keys wasn't always a murderer or even a criminal. He served in the U.S. Army and even ran a very successful construction business in Alaska. What was the one fantasy he couldn't shake? Was it A, what it would be like to be famous. B, the feeling of beating someone. C, abducting and torturing someone. Or D, having people recall his torture of others. Your Gramps drank that? Hilarious and silly? Abstaining citizen. Not. And hello, Mel. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Juicy Jules, Utah, cool. Dinosaur parks. We got they're unearthing a mammoth not too far from here, about 20 miles from where I sit right now. You can actually go there on I think it's on Fridays and Saturdays, weather permitting, and I think it's like $10, and you can actually watch them. The geologist, uncovering, where all the excavation site for where this woolly mammoth is. I will. No, unfortunately, I have been sick. I'm sorry, Mel. I hope that you're getting better, though. Israel Keyes wasn't always a murderer or even a criminal. He served in the U.S. Army and even ran a successful construction business in Alaska. What was the one fantasy he could not shake? Excuse me. Get some more of this tea. He just had a dead 20-foot great white shark wash up on our beach. Wow, 20-footer. That's a big one. That's like Jaws, 20-footer. Gotta go now, but I have a good night all. You as well, and thank you for stopping in. You have a terrific week ahead. Yeah, I'm right. Amelia's going with A. Purple going with C. Yes, thank you very much for stopping in tonight. All right, question 12. The correct answer is C as in cat, abducting and torturing someone else. Every one of his victims he kidnapped and didn't kill them right away. He kidnapped them and tortured them. Even when he was living in Alaska and running a successful construction business, he could not shake the excitement and the urge to want to abduct somebody else and torture them. That's the one thing he just could never shake, according to him. Going on to Morpheo needs to be arrested. He's a murderer. Getting his taxes done by H&R Block. I used to go to H&R Block before I found out I could do my taxes online with the IRS. But anyways, question 13. What did Israel Keyes hide all over the U.S. and maybe just across into Canada? Was it A, trophies from victims, B, murder kits, C, drugs and alcohol, or D, pictures of victims? Well, he admitted to raping females, but did he rape his male victims too? I'm not sure. NR Dural 101. Good. I think it's another one. No, 01. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm not currently wearing my glasses, so I think that was 101. Frog legs taste chicken. I've had frog legs quite a few times. Used to eat them a lot when I was a kid. We used to catch them in the Mississippi. Down by the train trestle just outside of town, we would catch frogs, and take them home, and we cook them all up. My mom wouldn't cook them in the house. She cooked them outside on the barbecue grill. But they're good. I ate them. B, because he wanted to be prepared at all times. Says Mel, murder kits. Okay, Lisa's going with D, purple A. What is NOAA? That is NOAA as in the North Atlantic North Oceanic Administration. No, it's something close like that, I think. All hail the 411 now. NWO. My comrades and brothers. Thank you, Mr. Frosty. I hope you're doing well. We convinced my daughter the frogs had little wheelchairs for the frog legs that keep up their legs. He was a Boy Scout being prepared for anything. Had sardines the other day. Nasty tasting fish. It all depends on what, how they're prepared and canned, Starfire. But I can understand a lot of people don't like sardines or anchovies. North Atlantic Oceanic something, yes. And probably like A on the end of it, isn't it? Like administration, something. Somebody will have to Google it. Fresh sardines are nice. Put a little bit of olive oil on them and some salt. Perfect. Okay, what did Israel Keys hide all over the U.S. and across into Canada? Maybe across into Canada. He wouldn't actually say. But the correct answer is B as in boy, murder kits. Murder kits. He hid them all over the United States to be prepared because you never know. Even after he moved to Alaska, he left these items, these murder kits, all over. They consisted of rope, duct tape, plastic bags, slips that like a surgeon would use to slip over your shoes to cover your their tennis shoes for sanitary reasons. But those were part of the kit, along with a false identifications. These kits are hidden all over. I guess people might have found them and they're like, oh, it's just trash and threw it away. But he hid them everywhere, all over the United States. Not anymore. I'll stick with tuna. I gotta get some tuna. I haven't had tuna in a while. I used to love making tuna fish sandwiches, but I haven't had tuna in a while. Okay, I'm on point. I will not only answer every question correctly from here on out. All right, you go for it, Mr. Frosty. I will also be first. All right. He's a Boy Scout of crime. Be prepared. Yes. All right, question 14. Confessed to murders in Washington State, Vermont, New Jersey. However, there are 4 murders he wouldn't talk about. At all, or only to say that he did them. Why was this? Was it A, he couldn't remember the details? B, they were very personal to him? C, he felt justified in doing them? Or D, he wanted the police to figure them out? Confessed to murders in Washington State, Vermont, and New Jersey. However, there are 4 murders he wouldn't talk about at all. Which is the reason why he wouldn't talk about them? 4 out of the 11 murders, 4 of them, there is a reason why he wouldn't talk about them. Which one is the answer? I'm torn between B and D. Summit, she's going with B. Sal's going with D. After this one, I mean, you go, Mr. Frosty. Purple B. TC is going with C. Tammy D. Yes, the critters wash up on the beaches here, and they're protected or endangered species. We phoned the DOC or MAF at Tammy's Department of Conservation and Ministry of the Agriculture of and Fisheries. Oh. This is only a guess, says Mel is going with B. Lemon Pie is going with A. And Amelia is going with C. E, tax purposes. He did it because of tax reasons. Do you get a deduction for that? Can you write that off as a business expense? That's an interesting question. When it comes to the IRS, can you write off the use of plastic bags, duct tape, rope as a business expense if you're murdering people? That's an interesting question. He smoked too much weed and forgot. Please repeat the question. Confessed to murders in Washington State, Vermont, and New Jersey. However, there are 4 murders he wouldn't talk about at all, or only to say he did them. Why was this? Well, he had nothing to lose, right? N.R. Doral 01 is going with C. E. Marsha. Marsha Brady. Callie Lisa, I'm an IRS auditor. Okay, Callie Lisa, then this question is for you then. If you're a serial killer and that's what you do for a living, can you write off rope and duct tape and plastic bags if as a business expense if you're a serial killer? Repeat the choices. A, he couldn't remember the details. B, they were very personal to him. C, he felt justified in doing them. Or D, he wanted the police to figure them out. Outer Banks of North Myrtle Island. No, you can't write off expenses for illegal activities, but you must report the income. I've actually heard that before, Callie Lisa. You must report the earnings from ill-gotten gains. You must be taxed on that. I've heard that before. Can't remember where, but I definitely have heard that. Mr. Frosty's going with B. Gemma's going with D. Did he not run a garden company? Who? Israel Keys? I don't believe so. I know he started off. He moved to Alaska and he started off doing like handyman work, and then that turned into construction, doing repairs, and stuff like that. And he had employees when he lived in Alaska, and by all accounts, he was very successful at it, and he was making good money. That's how Capone was taken down. You just emailed me already. West Coast. All right, question 14. The correct answer is B as in boy. They were very personal to him. He would not talk about those 4 murders because he considered them very personal. All right, question 15. The man was a sick son of a. He was a great soldier. He was very proficient at killing. He was, however, a lackluster at best boyfriend and fill in the blank. A student in the army, B, a boss to his employees, C, a father, or D, a mountain lion tamer. The man was a sick son of a, you fill in the blank. He was a great soldier. He was very proficient at killing. He was however, a lackluster at best boyfriend and A, student in the army, B, boss to his employees, C, a father, or D, a mountain lion tamer. Which one was he a lackluster at? JDR says C. Like you go salesman. Lemon pie is going with C. Gamma going with C. Sal going with C as well. Lemon pie C. Purple C. Israel Keys. Tommy A. Catalisa C. Purple C. I bet a billion it's B. Well, could they not figure it out if he was so personal to him? Could they not put the dots together? Well, TC, he every one of the 11 murders that he killed, 11 murders that he committed, he confessed that he did all 11, but there were 4 that he didn't want to talk about. He other than to say, I did it, I killed that person, taking full confessions, but the other ones he went into great details about every aspect of the crime, how he picked the person out, how he did it, what he did with them, how he tortured them, how he did everything. He went into great detail, except for those 4, which were very personal to him. He wouldn't talk about them at all. You don't use the all of the above and none of the above. Not very often, JDR. Not very often. I mean, I guess I could make it D instead, or one or the other, the last one, all the above, or I reckon to six Sense Amelia, you guys have them in spades. LOL. I think it's actually B. Which one was he a lackluster at best boyfriend? And the correct answer to question 15, ladies and gentlemen, is C as in cat. Father. Israel Keys has one daughter, just like his idol, Ted Bundy. He was a lackluster father. It scares me the bejesus out of the FBI. So how did you end up doing tonight? Did you get 12 to 15 right, 8 to 11, 4 to 7, 1 to 3, or mountain lion riding in a Yugo while smoking meth? One daughter. Yep. Yes, Israel Keys has one daughter, just like his idol. And he did. Tammy got 8 to 11. That's a pretty good. Wrong. Did they not just try and find out? I know they're probably cold cases now, but they need to go back for Israel Keys, TC. Well, the FBI and the Department of Justice are, pretty sure he only killed 11. He would have killed a heck of a lot more, but he tripped up, he stumbled, made his own mistake. His last victim, not only did he kidnap her, but how he got in trouble is he used her card, her ATM card at the bank, and it took a picture of him using her ATM card. And that is it for tonight's trivia questions. I hope you guys enjoyed the trivia questions for tonight. Crime Curious, good evening. Welcome to trivia night. We just finished, but you can watch it and rewind if you want to learn something about Israel Keys. Ironically, he got pulled over by a state trooper like Bundy did. Yeah. That was fun. I had a rough week. Well, I'm sorry about that inner peace. I hope next week, coming up is much better. So, did anybody have any suggestions for another trivia night? We've done it, Israel Keys now. I'll write done on here before I forget. Hurry up and wait and smoke them if you got them. And you stay safe out there. You as well, Reichardt. Will and community, very good to see you all. Well, good. I'm glad you were here, Amelia. I'm glad to see you here as well. What's the latest on Watts? 1 second, Mr. Frosty. Okay, so Chris Watts. What started off as a PREA investigation at the Dodge Correction Center in the housing unit that he is in. Now you have to understand what a PREA is the Prison Rape Elimination Act, PREA, PREA, and as part of that investigation, they go in and they interview other potential witnesses, the victim, if the victim wishes to talk to them, and they, as part of their investigation, they stumbled upon items that were stolen from the inventory of Dodge Correction Center where he's at. As part of that investigation, Christopher Watts' name came up as somebody who possibly could have stolen these items because he had access to both of these areas within the prison itself. These items were stolen from. Now, they do not release the victim's name or the perpetrator's name in the PREA investigation, but most PREA investigations do end up those that are settled end up, with criminal charges. We do not know if he was, if he has any part of that at all. His name only comes up again on the theft investigation. There was also a physical assault that had taken place in his housing unit, and it does not list him as a perpetrator or victim of that assault either. Let's see. What else is going on with Tim? That's about it. He's just doing his time where he's going to die behind bars. He's never going anywhere. Purple says, stay safe out there, Will. You never know who's standing next to you, and you never know who's going to knock on your door. You never know. Good night, Purple, and thank you again. Husband and wife serial killers. The only ones that come to mind right now for husband and wife serial killers are the West, Rosemary and Fred West. But I'll definitely put it on the list. Husband and wife serial killers. You have a great week as well, Mel. Bible studies. Doing Bible studies with Daryl Brooks. Serial killer duos. Killer duo. Not drip drop. Well, I certainly hope he's not. He's exactly where he needs to be. Yeah, he ain't getting out. Mel in England, the husband and wife serial killer group, that would be the West, at least, the only ones that comes to mind for me. Rosemary and Fred West. I'm going now, Will. I just got a upsetting email. Tell me I'm a bad person. You're not a bad person. Whoever says anything like that about you is obviously wrong. They don't know you at all. Don't put any weight behind that. Trust me, sweetheart, I wouldn't spend my time and energy, on your panel this morning on live stream, and I wouldn't be communicating with you if I thought you were a bad person in any way at all. I hope they bring Tammy and Graham back and to question him. Don't know. At this point in time in the investigation, Mr. Frosty, it's only been 2 weeks since the investigation, the PREA investigation and the theft investigation started. So on Friday was 2 weeks from when it started. Don't know where it's going to go from here. But duos, but not necessarily couples. I'll note that down here. I've just got emailed you about it. I'm upset. Well, you do that. Anyone say you're a bad person isn't worth a second of your time. I believe that. That is absolutely true, Mel. Excuse me. Chad and Lori. Today is the 2-year mark of your mother's passing. I'm sorry, Inner Peace. That can't be easy at all. I will. Always nice to catch your lives. Hope you and the fam are doing great. Debbie, I am doing great. And so is the family. I'm glad you're here, Lemon Pie. I'm glad that you're here with us. Sending you thoughts and blessings from afar. I just passed a 1 year on mom and then dad. I'm sorry about that, cement shoes. See, this is 2023, 9, 10, 20, 12. It's been 32 years since my father passed. 32 years. And not a day goes by that I don't miss him. Years ago, and I think about her every day. Millie, I thought you don't remember the date your father died. Life is rough. God help us all. Yes. Well, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's proud of me. He gave me the basic tools, to succeed in life, stand on my own 2 feet. Gave me the morals and ethics that I live by to this day. And I'm sure he's proud of me. Good parents are such a blessing. It's true. Someday, my son's going to sit back and have to reminisce about, when I pass. I don't plan on doing it anytime soon, though. So I miss my parents very much. They may be deceased, but they're not gone. No, my father's not gone either. I keep him with me every day. He's inside my heart and my mind. And that's all we can really do in the end is keep their memories alive and live by what they wanted us of us, expected of us. My dad passed 4/4/08 aneurysm. My mom 5/8/74 cancer. My son 12/11/19 car accident. He was 26. Truly sorry about that, Aunt B. That has got to be rough. Should never Parents should never have to bury their own children. I don't know what I would ever do if I had to bury one of mine. I'd probably absolutely lose it. I never want to even think about that. Always told me mom will never die as long as Debbie is around. I think we were really sisters, lol. Not. Oh, thank you, Aunt B. Unfortunately, though, Aunt B, after my father died, I pretty much raised myself. Um, and I'm not disparaging, other mothers out there in this world, but my mother, it was and still is to this day, um, not attentive and never should have been a parent. But by saying that though, without that, I wouldn't be here. But I had to raise myself, and I had to raise my two younger siblings, and I think I did pretty good. They've turned out okay. Well, you can consider yourself a parent to me. Oh, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. Will, how old's a boy are you now? Will, how old a boy are you now? How old am I? I'm 52. 52 years old. I've made it this far. My heart goes out to you, Aunt B, on the especially on the loss of your son. And there is no words. My son passed away first February 2001. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Amelia. I'm 35 in October. Being a mother is much, much, much more than just giving birth to children. Yeah. And now, even with I even though my mother was unattentive and never really should have had children, she's disabled now, mentally disabled. She was in a horrific car accident, and she was lucky to have survived it. But she lives in my house now with me. So even though I didn't get along with her when I was younger and growing up when I needed her, the roles have been reversed. Now I'm the person taking care of her. I'm okay. I cry freely about it. Sometimes that's the best course of action, medicine that you can do, Amelia. Is just let it go. Next week, I get to bury one of my friends who passed away last week. We're waiting for people to get into town. The longer I live, the more people around me are going. Molly and Thomas Martins killed her husband Jason Corbett. Her father was an FIB agent. Really interesting. Hmm. You're so confused. Don't give people an ounce of your energy, Gemma, especially if they say something like that about you. They don't know you. Trust me, the community out here, we know who you are. We know that you're a good person. Don't let somebody destroy your life or take you down. By giving them a weight and putting credence to it and questioning it or getting emotional about it, all you're doing is giving the energy and everything behind them. And some people are just negative and they love to feed off of that. They want to hurt other people because they feel awful about themselves and who they are. So if they can tear somebody else down, they'll do that. I'm 100 years. I'm 100 year behind you. Hope you live a long time because then I'll always be younger than you. The other person's negativity does not belong to you. It belongs to them. Absolutely, Mel. Yeah. It, a wise man that, that when I first started off on the internet, and doing videos and stuff, he told me that you're never going to hear from the people that really enjoy your content on a regular basis, but you will hear about every negative person that comes across your content. And for the most part, I mean, I hear from, besides in live streams like this, and then in the comment section, I do see the positive comments. But I mean, if you take the entire thing, it's, a good amount of, of negativity that comes my way from people who never met me. They'll never know me, and all they want to do is just destroy who I am and change who I am inside, and I refuse to let it happen. So sometimes you just have to turn the other cheek, I guess they say. Crying is not a fault. It's a healthy if you need to. Same with laughing. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure you're an amazing dad. I was 10 when my mom passed. For years, I thought it was a bad dream. Dad remarried, and I became Cinderella. We missed our son terribly, and I rely on God's promises. I'm a firm believer in the fact that God only gives me, what I can handle. I may not understand, and I certainly hell am not going to question, why these things happen to me or happen in my life. But it's just like my son. I mean, me and my wife were told after our daughter was born that, the likelihood was that she was never going to be able to, carry, full term another child. And then we went through 3 years of, fighting cancer, and she was supposed to go in for a hysterectomy, and she had a fever. So they said we can't put you under sedation because you have a fever. So they rescheduled it, and then when they came, we now know, when even then when she came in to have that hysterectomy, that on that date, that she was already pregnant with our son, because we had just finished up the chemo and the radiation and everything else, and that was the next step, was, the hysterectomy. And then we came back the next time, like a week later, when they rescheduled it, figuring her fever would be gone. When she came back in, and they left after running the test and everything else and blood work, like they always did every time we went. It was more blood work, more blood work, more blood work. And they came back in, and they're like, well, and we could just tell from the look on their face that it wasn't good news. And we're like, shit, is the cancer back? Is their white count all out of whack? What's going on? And they're like, well, we can't do the hysterectomy. And we're like, oh man, is the cancer back? Is she got a fever? What's going on? And they're like, you're pregnant. And we're like, what? That was the farthest thing from what we were ever thinking, that what they were going to tell us they couldn't do the hysterectomy because she was pregnant. And it's just like, and like I said, I truly believe that, that God gives me, what I can handle, and who am I to question why? And that miracle baby is inside the house right now with his grandmother, not my mom, but my wife's mom. So she comes over and hangs out with him when I do these streams. Oh, good evening, Gone Girl. Hugs to you as well. Oh, Mel, I'm an open book. I've told the story of my wife's cancer. Myself, I've told it, and she's told it on the Taco podcast. We've covered, that it quite extensively in the early. I think it was like episode maybe 10 or 5 or 10 somewhere in there, on the Taco Podcast, which is another channel that I do, that is about family, life, and raising a child with, on the autism spectrum. And it's also about our frustrations and how we're trying to survive in this crazy world that's going on. It's a little bit of everything, but it's a family channel. But we've talked about it, and my wife's cancer treatment and everything else. She had metaplastic carcinoma of the breast. One in like 8 million women under the age of 40 ever gets it, and she was in her mid 30s when she got it. So we share the story, about our son and what's going on in our lives, because everybody has a story. We all have experiences that make us different and unique. And by keeping these, who we are, locked up and bottled away from society, you never know who you can help. Maybe the story of my wife's journey through cancer treatment, can be uplifting to someone else, to give them hope. And if we would have kept that to ourselves, and kept it private, yeah, sure, it's a private matter that took part in our lives. But there are other women who are out there, there are other men who are out there who can find this story encouraging. You know, Unfortunately, this is a statistics. Um, Women who go through breast cancer treatment, and have their breasts removed, a lot of marriages fold, within a short period of time, of right after the surgery. If they have their one breast or both breasts removed. And that thought never crossed my mind. I mean, how could I abandon the one person in this world that has always had my back and who's always believed in me? And my wife does, even to this day. I mean, I remember when I walked into the house, the day that I told her I was going to start a YouTube channel, and she's like, "You don't know anything about cameras. You don't know anything about computers." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm going to figure it out." And I did. I just sat down and I studied everything I could about doing YouTube and how to make all this successful. And for the large part, I know how to do it. Am I going to be the next rising star of YouTube? You're going to see me at VidCon up on some stage where people are going to cheer and rant and applaud me. No, but then again, it's never been my goal. My goal has always been to get the truth, the facts, and the documents out to people about what's really happening in these cases. And because that was my goal from the beginning, and it's still my goal to this day. Your wife is so cool, Will. I love your channel and the other channel, Taco Podcast. I'll take your right cart. Hey, there's Duty Ron. I bet your ears are burning, Duty Ron. Me and Gemma were talking about you this morning on her stream. My son has memorized the complete login like find how to find you by typing into the search box on not only on YouTube but on the actual internet, how to pull up your channel when you're live or doing a stream or a video. He's remembered the entire tag for Duty Runs, and he'll come up to me with his tablet and go, "Daddy friend," and give me his tablet whenever you're live. If he sees that you're live, he always brings me the tablet. It's kind of cute, but it's amazing how he's memorized the entire thing for your channel and everything else. I don't get a chance to comment much on your stream, sir. And thank you, before I forget, for the super chat. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. I'm always in the background listening or watching your content. I just don't get a chance to comment in your actual streams or videos. But I'm still here, still a subscriber, still a supporter, still a Patreon member. I'm here, and I will support you forever. Love your channel. Who was it? Who's the other one we were talking about on the stream this morning? Oh, Ed Wall, Ed and Joey Brooklyn. With all of it, all three of you came up in the stream this morning on Gemma's channel. We were talking about it. Thank you for all the kind words, our sons. Ooh, that went by quick. I was reading that. Thank you for all the kind words. Our son Brian was an amazing soul. His best friend was his grandpa. They're together again, and I find some peace in that. That's good, Aunt B. I'm glad that he has somebody with him. Still, I don't really don't know what I would do if I ever had to bury one of my children. My heart goes out to you and anyone who's ever had to, bury one of their children. Gemma, as soon as I'm done here, I will definitely check my email. Your channel is one of the fee I'm a member of. Thank you, Will, for all your support. Duty Ron, always. I will always. And thank you. Thank you for the work that you do over on your channel. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out Duty Ron content, and you don't know who Duty Ron is a retired New York City, police officer, and quite a few of the individuals that he brings up, people who are experts, or they know the field of forensics and examination, and law enforcement, who can give insight into behind and why things take place in certain crimes and how they're investigated. You got to check out Duty Ron's content. Joey Brooklyn. Thank you, NFPs. Yeah, Duty Ron is awesome. Love the Trivia Sunday, Juicy Jules. Well, thank you, Juicy Jules. The trivia night is only as good as those who are here to give me suggestions and ideas on what to do next. And the community out there at large. You guys make this as good as it is. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Looking forward to spending some time with you all tonight. Are you going live later, Duty Ron? Amelia, trivia night is really fun. Good. I'll read the email in just a minute, Gemma, and get a hold of you. Live channel, you have built an amazing channel. Thank you. Click on the all notifications again. Thank you, Aunt B. I appreciate that. If you're still here, keep in touch. I would love to catch up. Give you my email address. Eddie Money was a NYPD, but he was just a trainee. I didn't know that about Eddie Money, the singer. I did not know that he was NYPD. Even as training, I didn't know he was interested in that. Hopefully, reselecting all notifications helps. P.S. I love your trivia lives as well. Well, thank you, Aunt B. He was an EMT first, I believe. I don't think I have any records by Eddie Money. I might. I've been surprised before by some of the records that I have in my collection. Lori Sutton, hello everyone. Hello, Lori. Well, I'm about to end the stream here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to again thank everyone for being here tonight. For the trivia. Polky, hello. Polka dot. But thank you again, everyone, for being here tonight for trivia night. I really appreciate everyone coming and hanging out with us. And again, Duty Ron, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that, sir. And everyone, have a safe and happy week ahead. And I will see you all again soon.